Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive into, well, I'm sure you know it, How to Win Friends and Influence People by the one and only Dale Carnegie.
A classic. And, you know, for a book about, well, people, it's been surprisingly popular for, what, like 100 years?
I know, right? You'd think it'd be outdated by now, but human nature, it's kind of timeless. And what's cool is Carnegie doesn't just preach.
Oh, no, not just some dry self-help lecture.
Exactly. He uses all these stories, real-life stuff to show his points, which I think is why it's stuck around so long.
Makes it relatable. You see how these principles actually play out.
And that's what we're doing today, diving into some of the juiciest anecdotes from the book.
The ones that really make you think, aha,
Yeah.
that's how it works.
Okay, so first up, we're heading straight into, well, not exactly a friendly place. We're talking about Sing Sing Prison, one of the toughest.
Serious business, yeah.
And there's this inmate, hardened criminal, tough as they come.
The kind of guy who's seen it all, right?
Exactly. But then his birthday rolls around and nothing. Not a single letter, not even from his own mother.
That feeling of being completely forgotten, even by family.
It breaks him. He turns to another inmate, totally defeated, and says, "Can you believe it? Not even a word from Mom."
It's like all that tough exterior just melts away, you know?
Totally. And it makes you realize even the toughest among us, they still crave that basic human need to feel important, valued.
Exactly. Carnegie nails it deep down. No matter how different we seem on the surface, we all want that same thing.
It's a good reminder, isn't it? Okay, ready for a complete shift in gears. This next one involves a dog named Boo.
Ah, yes, Boo. Dale Carnegie's childhood companion, a black and white mongrel as he called him.
And Carnegie, he was head over heels for this dog, spoiled him rotten by his own admission, gave him, and I quote, more affection than any human being.
Sounds a little excessive maybe, but there's a deeper point here. It's about the power of genuine interest.
Like how dogs get all excited when you give them attention. And
Exactly. People, we're wired for that too. We gravitate towards those who make us feel seen, listened to.
makes you think, when was the last time someone really, truly listened to you, made you feel like you were the only person in the room?
A rare and wonderful feeling, isn't it? Okay, so we've seen how powerful genuine interest can be, even with a pet. But how does that translate to our day-to-day interactions? Let's talk about this politician. Had a bit of an unusual strategy for success. This guy, he swore by remembering names, and not just a casual, oh yeah, I think I've met you. He went all out.
Like, seriously committed to it.
Seriously, he'd write them down, study them, the whole 9 yards. Sounds a little extra, but
That it worked?
oh yeah. See, it's not just about remembering a word. It's showing the other person, hey, you matter. You're not just a face in the crowd.
It's funny how something so small can make such a big difference. Have you ever had someone, like, completely blank on your name?
Ooh, the worst. It's like, do I not make an impression?
Right. Like, you're totally forgettable. Okay, so remembering names, huge. But what about compliments? Carnegie had some thoughts on those too, didn't he?
You did. And get this. This story involves Silent Cal himself, President Coolidge. Not exactly known for being, well, a smooth talker.
Silent Cal giving out compliments. Okay, I'm intrigued. What happened?
So picture this. Silent Cal's leaving the White House with his wife, and they pass this young secretary heading out too. Now, Coolidge, he wasn't exactly known for being chatty, but he stops and he tells this secretary, anyone who can wear their hair like that deserves a raise.
No way. He actually said that. I kind of love it. But why was it so effective? It's not like he was complimenting her work or anything.
That's exactly why it worked. It was genuine. He noticed something specific, something she put effort into. Those generic compliments, they're forgettable, but something personal that sticks with you.
Totally. It's like, wow, they actually see me. Okay, ready for a story about winning over even the toughest critics.
Oh yeah, this one's good. So there's this executive, right? About to get the boot from his office building. Landlord's had it with him.
Sounds stressful. What do you do?
He took the landlord to lunch,
Bold move.
and he just listened. Let the landlord rant and rave about all the problems, how disrespectful some tenants were, the whole 9 yards.
Uh-huh.
And get this, he found ways to agree.
Wait, really? He didn't try to defend himself?
Nope, he was like, you're right, this building deserves respect. Common ground, you know? Suddenly they're not enemies anymore.
So did it work? Did he save his lease?
He did, all because he focused on connecting, finding that shared ground. It's amazing how quickly things can change when you do that. Now, speaking of unexpected connections, let's talk about Silent Cal, a raccoon, and a Thanksgiving feast no one saw coming.
Okay, now you've got my attention. A raccoon at the White House. I need details.
So, Thanksgiving at the White House, right? Big day.
Mm-hmm.
Except, instead of the traditional turkey, President Coolidge gets gifted a live raccoon.
No way! What did he do with it? Give it a medal.
He decides to make it a White House pet, names her Rebecca.
Only silent Cal. So what, Rebecca just like roamed the halls of power?
Pretty much. Hid silverware, took swims in the fountain, you name it. One day, these kids are playing outside, see Rebecca, and freak out.
Thinking it's some wild animal on the loose.
Totally. But before they could do anything, guess who shows up? Coolidge himself. Picks up Rebecca, puts her on a leash, takes her for a walk.
Can you imagine the look on those kids' faces? Okay, that's hilarious, but what's the connection to Carnegie? It's not exactly standard friend-making advice.
It's about being genuine. Silent Cal, he didn't put on airs. He was himself, raccoon and all.
He didn't try to fit some perfect mold, which people appreciate. It's like, okay, this guy's real.
Exactly. Authenticity is magnetic. Okay, one last story, and this one's really about stepping into someone else's shoes. Remember that frustrated landlord?
The one with the difficult tenant.
Right. This tenant was just a constant drag. Complaints, criticisms, the works.
Landlord must have been ready to pull his hair out.
Totally. But instead of kicking the guy out, he does something unexpected. Sits down with the tenant, offers him a drink, and just listens.
Really tries to understand where he's coming from.
Exactly. And as he listens, he realizes this guy, he's not just being difficult, he's lonely. A widower, living alone, and the summer heat's making it worse.
Wow, talk about a different perspective. Goes from wanting to evict the guy to understanding his situation. What did he do?
Instead of just fixing the air conditioning, he invites the guy to dinner that night, with him and his friends.
That's amazing. He saw the real need, connection, belonging.
Exactly. And that one act of kindness, it changed everything. Tenant went from public enemy #1 to a beloved resident. The power of empathy.
Really makes you think. Sometimes all it takes is a listening ear and a little compassion to make a world of difference. Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into how to win friends and influence people. We've covered a lot of ground today.
From Sing Sing to the White House with a few dogs and raccoons thrown in.
And through it all, one thing's clear. Carnegie's insights about human nature, they're as relevant as ever. Whether it's remembering a name, finding common ground, or even just being yourself, a little kindness goes a long way. So next time you find yourself facing a challenging situation, remember these stories. Remember the power of genuine connection. That's all for today's deep dive. Until next time, keep those connections strong, and remember, everyone has a story to tell.